Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're looking at a company that is, well, literally rewiring the world around us. We're talking about Skyworks Solutions. They just dropped their Q2 2026 earnings, and honestly, they didn't just report numbers. They kind of pulled back the curtain on a massive transformation in how our devices actually talk to each other.
So, here's the big question we're tackling today. How exactly is the hidden hardware inside your phone powering a $10 billion tech giant's next chapter? We're going to go way beyond the silicon today to unpack an earnings beat and a strategic shift that's honestly flying totally under the radar. This isn't just about microchips, right? It's about those invisible radio frequency bridges connecting literally everything we do.
Okay, let's dive right into it. $944 million. That is the revenue Skyworks posted for their second fiscal quarter of 2026. Now you might be wondering, why does that matter so much? Well, in a really tough semiconductor environment right now, where all you hear is chatter about inventory gluts dragging everyone down, Skyworks basically defied gravity. They beat the high end of their own guidance by roughly $20 million. It's a huge signal that the demand for these premium, highly complex connectivity solutions, it's incredibly resilient.
And hey, it's not just about top-line sales either. They delivered diluted earnings per share of $1.15. That's another massive beat. It just proves that Skyworks' hyper-focus on premium engineering is actually driving real, tangible profitability. Get this, even with the rising cost of materials like gold and having to cough up extra fees to rush shipments, they still pulled off a 20% operating margin. They are keeping a super tight lid on costs while maximizing the value of every single thing they sell.
Now, what I find absolutely fascinating is how that $944 million actually breaks down. For years, Skyworks has been completely synonymous with mobile phones. And yeah, mobile still makes up a very solid 58% of their revenue. But the real curveball here? 42% is now coming from their broad market segment. This beautifully illustrates our first big pillar today, a rock-solid mobile foundation that's being rapidly and very deliberately balanced out by diversification.
Which brings us to Pillar 1, the foundation and a massive $1 billion win.
So, while their largest customer, which everyone pretty much knows is a massive smartphone maker, accounts for about 60% of their total revenue, Skyworks is definitely not just resting on its laurels here. They just locked in a multi-generational design win with a leading Android manufacturer. This single win is expected to generate over $1 billion in revenue through 2030. Just think about the stickiness of that tech for a second. You don't just sign a multi-year billion-dollar deal unless those components are absolutely crucial to the device's performance. It's a huge structural tailwind pushing them right through the end of the decade.
But, what's actually causing this billion-dollar demand in the first place? Well, CEO Phil Brace hit the nail on the head during the latest earnings call. He pointed to 4 converging forces that are going to drive their future growth.
Let's break down those 4 forces, because they're absolutely critical to understanding where this entire industry is headed. First up, more units. The sheer number of connected devices out there is just exploding. Second, more RF content, meaning the actual physical radio frequency filters and antennas needed to make stuff like 6G and Wi-Fi 7 actually work. Third, AI workloads. Look, processing AI right there on your phone means moving absolute mountains of data instantly, which demands incredibly complex hardware. And finally, new form factors, right? Think robotics, autonomous platforms. The whole shebang requires the hyper-precise connectivity hardware that Skyworks builds.
And that perfectly transitions us to Pillar 2, broad markets, and the explosive rise of Wi-Fi 7.
Now, this broad market segment isn't just some little side project. We're talking 9 consecutive quarters of growth, hitting about $400 million this quarter alone. It's powered by 3 main engines: Wi-Fi, automotive, and the AI data center. I really want to zoom in on that last one. While the AI data center business is currently, a smaller slice of the pie for them, it's projected to grow by nearly 50% this year alone. As these AI data centers upgrade to insane 800 gig and 1.6 terabit speeds, which is kind of like upgrading a dirt road to a 50-lane superhighway, they desperately need Skyworks' precision timing and advanced power delivery to keep all that data flowing without a total crash.
All right, let's anchor some of this corporate jargon to the real world for a second. Look at this Wi-Fi 7 front-end module. I mean, it might look tiny, but it basically acts as a super high-speed traffic cop for your data. It's engineered for blazing fast speeds and ultra-low latency. Wi-Fi 7 adoption is accelerating so fast as AI pushes to the edge. And get this, Skyworks is already locking down early engagements for Wi-Fi 8. No way they're slowing down. And this brilliantly illustrates how those tiny little modules translate to actual real-world impact for us consumers.
Their performance tier modules are specifically designed to maximize output power. So what's the so what for you? It means full home coverage for high bandwidth stuff. You get a completely flawless connection for your VR gaming or streaming in 4K, and your network won't suddenly drop just because your neighbor decided to microwave a burrito. It literally drastically cuts down on out-of-channel interference. It's a real game changer for the smart home.
Okay, let's transition to our final pillar today, the future and financial health. Because let's be real, having killer tech is only half the battle. You have to run a tight financial ship to survive in this game.
So Skyworks generated $395 million in operating cash flow this quarter, and they're sitting on a massive war chest of $1.4 billion in cash. That strong foundation is absolutely vital right now as they prepare for a massive structural shift, the pending mega merger with Qorvo. Regulatory reviews are moving along exactly as planned, actually. They just entered Phase 2 review in China. And while the formal target for closing is early 2027, they're feeling increasingly optimistic it could close as early as late 2026. Once that deal is done, they expect to unlock over $500 million in synergies, which is basically a fancy way of saying cost savings and efficiencies. They're building a true industry juggernaut here.
Now, for the income-focused folks tuning in, check out these dividend numbers. Skyworks paid out $107 million in dividends just this quarter. They offer a highly reliable 71-cent quarterly payout, which translates to a very solid 4.08% yield. Look, delivering this level of consistent shareholder return right in the middle of a multi-billion-dollar merger, that speaks volumes. It shows serious disciplined capital allocation and immense confidence that they can just keep generating reliable cash.
But if we look at Wall Street's outlook, there's quite a debate brewing. Analyst price targets are kind of all over the map right now, ranging from a bearish $46 at Mizuho all the way up to a highly bullish $140 at Piper Sandler. The consensus is sitting right around $82. So why such a massive gap? Well, it totally reflects the classic Wall Street debate around cyclical up and down semiconductor demand versus structural, long-term growth. The bears are stressing over smartphone seasonality and material costs, while the bulls, they're looking straight ahead at Wi-Fi 7, Edge AI, and that monster billion-dollar Android win. Which brings us to our final thought. As physical AI aggressively pushes to the edge, right into our phones, our cars, our smart homes, those devices are going to need exponentially more complex hardware just to handle the massive data transmission. So the real question is, does this deeply embedded RF and Wi-Fi hardware make Skyworks the ultimate, hidden, indispensable winner of the next tech cycle? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. You're absolutely going to want to keep this company on your radar.